Hey guys, so I'm so honored that you want me to speak on this topic of recruiting or building your team. And, I had to sit down and really think, okay, so what have I been doing? And the first thing that I want to make sure I focus on with you guys is that I shifted my focus in my business. Okay, so I shifted from thinking about, building, having challenge groups and, running challenge groups and getting successful points and all that stuff. And I started focusing on wanting to build my dream team, and yes, I've been a coach for 6 years and I've had several moments where I've gone through this mind shift, and you'll find that with your business too. There's times where you're wanting to build a stronger team. And so that's what we call kind of like the harvesting months, around January and around Summit and around this time, where you're really wanting to either you have a goal of a rank advancement or an income goal or whatever. You're just wanting to build your team. And you have to shift your focus to thinking about, okay, how can I attract these people into my life? Okay, so when I decided back in May that I really wanted to, help more people and focus on building a stronger team and doing all this stuff before this baby girl comes. And, I just went into overdrive and I said, okay, every single day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to think about who are the kind of people I want to attract into my life. Okay, so that's what I did. I started out, and I've talked about this before, but I started out my day thinking about, the devotional time, so silence or devotional or prayer or whatever you do, and saying, how can I attract these people into my life? Okay. The other thing that I did is I geared my posts on Facebook towards that person that I really, really wanted to attract. Okay. So for those of you that were not at the Success Club trip, let me pull this out. Ooh, so many papers. This is Tracy. I write like a 4-year-old. I know that. But this is Tracy. And I went through and I looked at the blog from Katie Hefner that is about branding yourself, okay, or finding your niche or whatever you want to call it. And I thought, okay, who is the person that I want in my life? Okay, and I went through and I said exactly her age, that she's a woman of faith, that she just had her first child, that she, works out for 30 minutes per day. She's working a full-time job where she doesn't feel like she's fulfilling her destiny, and I just went through and I broke down everything that I wanted in someone on my team, okay, that they were wanting more out of life. And so I have Tracy on my desk and I look at that every single day before I start my work day. Every single day before I put up a post, I'm thinking, okay, so what would Tracy think about this post? Okay. So number one, you have to shift your focus from running challenge groups to building a team. Okay. And you also have to think about that kind of person that you're wanting to attract. Okay. Number two, I was doing, and I still am, my power of threes every single day. I have a stack from, Tuesday through Sunday right here. I did Monday yesterday. Tuesday through Sunday of power of threes. And yes, I've been a coach for 6 years, but before I was doing the business activity tracker, now I'm doing the power of threes every single day. I will tell you, I have not missed one day since the beginning of May when I made this decision that I wanted to start growing my team, okay, and finding those right people. Because I know that if I want to attract those kind of people into my life, I have got to be doing the work, okay? And yes, there's going to be days, if you look at mine, where a lot of them are follow-ups, okay? So this is all follow-ups. Or maybe there's a day where, and I'm not done for the day, obviously, but maybe there's a day where you're talking to a lot of new people about coaching and not as many people about challenge groups. Or maybe you're not talking to anyone about challenge groups or coaching and you think, oh God, I'm failing. You are not, okay? What I tell my coaches to do when you have a day like that is build your network more, So this is the power of threes. If you're doing, and obviously I go above and beyond. I don't just stop at power of threes. So if you're really wanting to grow your business faster, turn it into like power of 12s, guys. And it doesn't have to be power of 12s every single day, but maybe set one day per week where you're saying, okay, I am really going to make sure that I talk to 12 people on this day. Okay, whatever. But on those days that you don't have 12 people to talk to, or even 3 people to talk to about challenge groups or coaching or whatever, you want to add more people to your network. So if you go on my YouTube channel, I have a video that shows exactly how I find people from Pinterest. I went over it on the National Wake Up Call, but exactly how I find people on Pinterest and pull them over onto Facebook and the message that I send them. And that has been, 99% of the way that I've been growing my network over the past couple months, because my Facebook ads have been tanking. Now, recently I changed it. I changed my Facebook ad on like Friday or something, and all of a sudden it's doing well. But I'm still focusing on Pinterest, okay, to connect with people. So make sure you look at that video. I'm not going to get into it. Okay, so there are going to be days where you're building your network more and not talking to as many people about coaching or challenge groups. But then it's going to shift. Once you get that momentum growing and moving forward, you're going to have more people that you're talking to about coaching as opposed to challenge groups or about, the network or whatever. It shifts around, guys. Okay, so you have to create that momentum and be very consistent with your power of 3s. Okay, number 3, you have got to detach yourself from the outcome. Okay, so for me personally, I am very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. And pregnancy hormones do not make it any easier. Okay, so my feelings get hurt. I get offended, whatever. But I realized that when I'm talking to people about coaching, and I think it was Elizabeth Hartkey that said this on a National Wake Up Call, I have to remember that it's not my job to convince people to sign up as a coach. It is not my job to convince them. And I don't want to have to convince someone. Everyone's like, how do you find these people who really want to work their business? Don't convince them to sign up. Let them do it themselves, okay? Because when they make that decision to actually take that leap of faith and become a coach on your team, they are going to be so much more fired up as opposed to you having to convince them that this is something that they need in their life. Okay, same thing goes for challenge groups. You want to make sure that they are fully engaged in wanting this. Okay, so detach yourself from the outcome. When they say no, that's okay. That is completely okay. Maybe it's not the right time. I've had a lot of people who say, I can't afford it right now, or my life is just crazy, or whatever the excuse is. And I leave it at that. I say, that is completely fine. In the future, if this is something that you want to do, just know I'm here. But other than that, I'm going to still help you with your fitness journey or whatever it is. So you want to make sure that that, no is not always no. They're going to come back probably in a couple months when it's the right time because you planted that seed in their head. Okay. The other flip side of that is it might just not be something that they want to do. Okay. And that can be hard for us as coaches to hear because we love everything about coaching, right? And we're like, how could someone not want this in their life? But you know what? There's just some people that don't, I have some best friends that they see everything coaching has done for me and they're very supportive, but it's not something that they would ever want to do or to have in their life. And that's okay. That's completely okay because they're passionate and excited about their jobs. Okay. And it's not my job to try to convince them as to why they need this in their life. Okay. Just let it go. Okay. Number 4, you've got to be consistent with your jabs and hooks on your profile page, on your like page, on your Instagram. Now, like pages right now are going through something iffy. They're really, I don't know what it is, the weird algorithms that, you might have posted something that you posted in the past and all of a sudden it gets like 0 likes. And in the past it would have gotten like 20 or 30 or even 100. And Facebook wants us to pay to play. You've got to be boosting posts. You've got to be doing Facebook ads and stuff like that. And maybe that is not your jam. You're like, I'm not paying to do this. And that's okay. You can have ways around it, okay? the like page is not the only way to grow your business. People have been very successful on Instagram, very successful on just their profile pages. You got to be a little careful what you're posting on your profile page. People have been very successful from just building an email list from a freemium that they've offered, okay, and just sending out emails to people and connecting with them one-on-one, okay. But you're the CEO, okay? What works for me is not going to always work for you guys. So you have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to take the time to learn whatever area, social media outlet you want to work. For me, when I noticed that Facebook was going down the tank, I started focusing a lot on Pinterest and Instagram. And it took some time. It took a lot of time and a lot of behind the scenes building my lists and building relationships on Instagram and on Pinterest to really get it going. And it took a couple months, guys. But all of a sudden, because I was consistent on both of those platforms, they took off. Okay. And will it always be that way? No, probably not. I have to stay consistently doing them. And maybe I'll shift back to Facebook and Instagram or Facebook and Pinterest. It never stays the same in the social media world. But maybe there's going to be another thing in a couple months, that is the next big thing. I know Periscope is huge right now. I can't get into it. But, a lot of coaches are doing very well on Periscope. Maybe you're one of those coaches that's doing it. If it's working for you and you're finding that it's easy to stay consistent on there, then do it, okay? But you have to be consistently doing it. And by jabs and hooks, what I mean is you need to be sharing what coaching is doing for your life. Okay, you have to share, maybe, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, okay? Sharing what coaching has done for you and doing it every single day, not overload. Don't word vomit, it. But you know what? Maybe one day you're sharing that, you have more of a bicep muscle that you had before. And the next day you're sharing that you feel like you have a better view on life. You're a more positive person. The next day you're sharing that you were able to pay off your car loan, or you're able to pay for your phone that month, or something, okay? You have to be sharing something little. You were able to pay for your Shakeology and not spend any money on the business, because you were able to help 3 people with their journey, okay, in the month of October, okay? Share that, okay, because you are painting a picture on your social medias about what coaching does for you. We cannot assume that people just know. Okay, and I know sometimes it's uncomfortable because we don't want to feel like we're bragging, okay, and you do need to, I always have my husband look at the wording and just say, does this sound okay, and I'll get a call from my mom if it doesn't, like, you should probably change that, so ask people, does this sound okay, does it sound like I'm bragging, or do you get the message that I'm really trying to, show people what this has to offer, but you have to be doing something little every single day. Now the hooks are actually inviting people to coaching. Okay, so whether it be that you're just doing your call to action about building your team, or you are doing a sneak peek into coaching, or a call, or a webinar, or whatever, you have to do at least one a week. When I decided back in May that I was really going to step it up, I was posting once or twice a week about a hook. And at that point, Wednesday night and Sunday afternoon were awesome, and I had to play around a lot. I had to do a lot of posts that is oh yeah, that didn't do too well. I'll try it a different day, or I'll change up the wording or something like that, or a different time. You have to figure out what's working for your network, okay? We're all different. Just because I said Wednesday and Sunday doesn't mean that's going to work for you, because now, guess what? A couple months later, if I post something on Sunday, it's no one comments or likes on it. Okay, so you have to make sure that you're staying up to date on that too, and knowing and not getting upset. If you put something up and no one comments or likes, just know it's all right, okay, I need to move on. Okay, and the other side of that is you can't put your eggs all in one basket with social media. You can't put a post up on your like page and just assume that that is going to do amazing and you're going to get a ton of people off of it. And then when no one comments or likes, you just think, I suck. I'm failing. No one wants to join my team. Okay, come on. You know, there are people out there that want to join your team. They just don't know about the opportunity. And guess what? They probably didn't see that post on Facebook. So you have to think about your profile page too. You have to think about emails, you know, emailing your customers. You have to think about Instagram. You have to think about doing videos as opposed to just doing a Facebook post. Okay, so trying different avenues and not being afraid to fail with it. Okay, number 5, you have to do something to invite them weekly too. Okay, so this kind of goes along with number 4. But when I decided that I wanted to up the ante, and I was like, I want to really make sure that I'm building this team strong before this baby comes, because this is my time of harvest, or whatever you want to call it. I started doing 4-day sneak peeks every other week for my team, for my entire downline. So I would do it the first Monday and the third Monday of every single month. Okay, and then I also on the alternate weeks, I was doing kind of like a what's it called? Can't think of it. Like kind of like a backstage pass into my actual team, where I was just having them join the team group for 7 days and having them get on the national wake-up call and having them get the welcome email that they would have as a coach. And that did okay for a while. And then I ran into that backstage pass idea where you can just do a 1-hour backstage pass. And I tried that, and we did it, I think, 2 weeks ago, and it was crazy. It was insane. It was awesome. We had a lot of coaches join our team. I think one of my coaches had like 5 or 6 people join her team just in a matter of a couple days, which was really cool. And the engagement in that group was amazing. And you just run it as a Facebook event. Okay. And so I was amazed at how that actually happened. And I actually am doing a call for Janelle Summers tomorrow on coaching sneak peeks. So I'm going to talk about the backstage pass. I'm going to talk about my 4-day sneak peek. So I can just, send you that YouTube video after this so I don't have to go into detail on how that goes. But basically with your sneak peeks, you want to think about what you would have wanted to know as a coach before you signed up. Okay, so like what were those questions that you had and you wanted someone to really help you walk through it? Was it how you made money? Was it some of the misconceptions? Was it what it would actually take to be successful in this business? Come up with a list of that. And that gives you a little bit of the blueprint on what you want to do in your sneak peek. Okay, so every other week now, so I'm doing a 4-day sneak peek on the first Monday and the third Monday, and then on the second Monday and the fourth Monday, we're doing a 1-hour backstage pass. And I just grabbed a couple of my leaders to go in there, and last night we just ran one, and I was really very happy that a lot of the leaders from our team also, that I didn't even have to ask, stepped in and helped us respond back to people, because it got insane. You get a lot of people commenting very quickly, and it was overwhelming in a good way. But you want to grab your leaders to help you run that by yourself, because there's no way you can keep up with everyone in those events, because they just kind of take off. Okay, number 6. Use resources, okay? This is going to help you avoid word vomiting. Every single time I talk to someone about coaching, it is the same type of routine, whether I'm inviting them to a sneak peek or the backstage pass or just talking to them about coaching in general. The first thing I always ask them is I say, hey, I'm so excited that you want to hear information about coaching. Have you ever worked with a coach before? I do not want to step on toes. Okay, that is the first thing I say. And if someone says, no, I've never, done a Beachbody program, or I've never worked with a coach or anything like that, then I move on and say, okay, awesome. So if it's about the sneak peek, then I say, let's get you some information about the sneak peek. And I give them a little bit of information about when it starts, what the details are, how they can check in, da-da-da-da. Okay. If it's about just giving them information about coaching, I'll say, okay, awesome. I have a couple different ways that I can give you information. Would you prefer just some bulleted basic information on coaching, or to listen to a recorded call I did on it, or a webinar? What do you prefer? and let them tell you what they would prefer. Because some people just want to see X, Y, Z. Other people want to see your face. They want to hear your voice, so they would want a webinar. Some just want to hear your voice and your story, okay? So they need a call. So you have to, people learn in a different way, okay? So make sure that you're asking them and not just sending them a ton of information, okay? Because that's word vomit, and that overwhelms people, and then you never hear back from them, okay? So make sure that you're really using those resources. The other thing I want to make sure I mention is if someone says, no, I'm not working with a coach, but I've done that, this program. Okay, guys, we have to run our businesses with integrity, okay? And so I want you to promise yourself and promise me that you are going to ask that person, okay, so did you get it from Beachbody? Okay, and if they say yes, okay, how about you log into your Team Beachbody account and see that contact your coach thing, okay? Have that person contact their coach, because there's nothing worse than having someone join your team and then all of a sudden finding out that they had a coach who was very actively helping them, and then you feel horrible because, that person never told you, and then that coach is mad at you. You don't want to do that, okay? So make sure that you are really directing them back to their coach. Okay, number 7. Okay, this is the last thing that I want to cover with you guys. Number 7, you have to remember to follow up with people. Okay, actually, I have another one after this, but you want to make sure that you're following up with people. For me personally, I give people, say that someone messages me on Monday, then I give them till on, Wednesday or Thursday, and I follow up with them, depending on whether it be in a sneak peek. If they're in the sneak peek with me, then I follow up with them on Thursday and say, hey, how did things, Wednesday or Thursday, and hey, how did things go? Is there any questions that you have that I can answer for you? If it's someone who says, not right now, and this is just not the right time, whatever it is, whether it be cost, whether it be timing, whatever the hesitation is, I give them till the next month, okay? At least the next month. So if they tell me in June, it's really not a good time, then I wait until like July or August, and I invite them to one of those opportunities that I'm doing, okay? So I'm saying, hey, I know it wasn't the right time in June, but, I would love to have you in this group. Is this something that you'd want to try out now? And maybe it's still not the right time, and people are going to tell you that, or maybe they are ready, because people need to hear stuff like 6 to 8 times. I'm pretty sure that's the average, that people need to have information in front of them. Even if it's the same information, you did the same sneak peek before and you're nervous that that person is like, I just saw that information. No, they need to absorb it, and maybe they were in your sneak peek before, but they weren't really reading the posts and stuff, so then the next time they run it, all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, all right, I need to do that. Okay, number 8. And with the follow-ups, you're never annoying people, okay? I know for me, I've had people talking to me about those essential oils. What are the other things? Those like not chemicals, but like things to clean your house that are like good for like babies and your family and everything like that. 2 people who have emailed me in the past week, and I'm super interested. Like, I would love to incorporate essential oils and that cleaning stuff into my house. But I've been really busy, getting things ready for the baby and just everything like that. So I have not had a chance to look at it. Now, with both of these girls, neither one has followed up with me. Okay. So if they were following up with me, I would have it on the front brain, at the front of my brain, thinking, all right, I need to look at this email. I need to just sit down and schedule it because I'm really interested and I need to sit down and look at it. Okay. If I had them messaging me, I would probably remember. Like right now, talking to you guys, I'm like, shoot, I got to go look at that email. Okay. But, so people are not going to be annoyed. If you're following up with them every single day, absolutely, yes, they're going to be super annoyed with you. You have to give them space and some time. Okay. So I would say, if they say no, at least a month. If they say, you send them information, then give them 2 or 3 days to get through that information. Then just say, hey, I'm just following up with you to see if you have any questions on that. Okay. Don't be afraid to follow up. Now, if they ignore you, Okay. I've gotten this from a lot of coaches. I'll follow up with them twice, like within, say they ignore me on Wednesday, and then I'll follow up again with them on maybe Monday of the next week. And if they ignore me, it's like, all right, 2 times. I'm just going to keep you on my list, but I'm going to take you off of my my strong prospect list that I'm actively running. Okay, so I'll move them on to the people that maybe I need to follow up with in a month or 2. Okay, and that's where I go into my last point. Okay, so the last point, number 8, is working from a list. Now, I remember Janelle told me this several times, and I would always feel like, oh yeah, whatever. I don't need to track. I'll just look at who's responded back in my Facebook messages, right? So then I know I can just keep track. And that was the worst thing I could ever do for myself. Ever, ever, ever. Okay, I have a running list, and I actually have it up on my computer. Let me see where I put it. I have a running list that's just a Google Doc, and I'll show you guys real quick. And it's nothing organized, believe me. Okay, so I have a running list of 356 names that I've been doing since June. Okay, and what I do is I take that list just from Google Doc, and I put their email address or their name or whatever. I say where we've responded to each other, whether it be through my like page or through email. My main way is email, so I can quickly see the responses, or my main page of Facebook, or whatever, face-to-face. And so I can track it that way. And then I have another column of whatever I've invited them to. Okay, so was it the 1-hour sneak peek? Was it the 4-day sneak peek? Was it just that they wanted information off of seeing one of my hooks or my jabs from my page, and they just randomly emailed me? Those are always nice, right? And believe me, I do not get a lot of those. I get one like maybe every 6 months, and I'm like, this is the most amazing feeling ever. Okay, so no coaches have people just knocking down their door to sign up. You have to actively go out and find people. I know that Janelle still does it. Okay, but I keep that list right in front of me every single day, and I force myself to, every single time I'm doing my power of 3s, I put their name down on that list, so I know when I go back to follow up with them, if I've lost the power of 3 sheet, because I usually just throw them out, I have it all right there. So I know if I go back and I look and I say, you know what, I've only talked to 2 people about coaching this entire week. Of course I'm not going to be signing up a coach, because it's the, out of 10 people you're talking to, you're only going to have 1 or 2 that sign up. And as you get better talking to people about coaching, more comfortable, that ratio is going to go up a little bit, but it's still only like maybe 4 or 5 people out of 10 that you're talking to that are going to sign up on your team. Okay, so I want to make sure that you guys understand you have to track. If you're not tracking, you're not going to be able to follow up with people in the right way. Okay, and in a timely manner, because maybe your follow-ups are thinking how I was, and how I am with those people that it's like, hey, they haven't said anything to me, and they probably think, I don't want to annoy her. I know she has a lot of stuff on her plate, and I'm on the other side thinking, maybe they really don't want me to buy from them, or maybe they really don't want me on their team. They're not trying to recruit me on a team, but maybe that's what someone is thinking, that you maybe don't want them that bad if you're not following up with them. Okay, so you never want someone to have that feeling. I want you guys to definitely remember that when you're shooting for a rank or a goal, okay, or whatever it is, you have to look at, other people who've achieved exactly what you want to achieve. Maybe you're shooting for diamond. Maybe you're shooting for 2-star. Maybe you're shooting for 5-star elite. Maybe you're shooting for 10-star or 15-star or whatever, 6 figures. And you're shooting for some kind of goal. You have to look at the other coaches who have done this, and don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself, but tell yourself, if they can do it, I can do it. One of the reasons that I really took off with my business is because I repeated that over and over and over again in my head, because Mindy Wender was my role model. And I said, if she can do it, I can do it. You have everything inside of you right now to accomplish whatever you want to do in this business. You just have to be the one that's running it. You have to be the one that's consistently doing this stuff and being okay when people say no. Okay, the opposite of success in this business and every single area of your life is giving up. okay, where you sit there and you say, I don't have what it takes. I'm just going to be a discount coach. You know, I'll just enjoy the discounts and, you know, I can't do this. Okay, that's the opposite of success. You're going to fail. You're going to fail a lot in this business. You know, you look at the 15-star diamond coaches, Lindsay Matway, who's about to hit 15-star in 4 business centers. Guess what? She's failed a lot. She's gone through a lot to get to that point. And if you ask her, she would tell you. You know, I've talked to a lot of people who have said no to me. I had a lot of coaches quit my team. I've had a lot of this, a lot of that, but I kept going. I kept moving forward. She didn't let it bring her down, okay? So, you know, you want to make sure that when people are saying no to you, you just know you're getting closer, okay? You're getting closer and you're building that momentum up. And when they come back, it's going to be like Christmas, you know, because you weren't expecting it. When they come back, it's always like, oh, yep, I knew you were going to come back. You know, this is like the best thing ever. And you have to fail forward to be successful in this business, okay? Failure is one of the things that has to happen in this business in order to succeed, in order to kind of be like a springboard to catapult you forward in your business, okay? I've had a lot of people say nasty things. I've had a lot of people, you know, say no. And I just keep moving forward because it's like, okay, you know what? I know that I'm destined to do this. I know that I'm meant to, you know, help however many people continue growing their business and building a business. And it's my job to give people this opportunity to help their family and their lives. Okay, so just remember that. Take the tips that I've given you guys, apply them, and, you know, finish this year strong because, you know, I just started doing it. Okay, I just started doing it. I didn't know where it was going to come. You know, when you guys asked me about talking about recruiting and building my team, you know, last week and this week I was a top recruiter, and I was telling my husband, I'm like, I don't even know what I was doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So when I look down and I look at these things that I've told you guys to do, this is exactly what I'm doing. There's nothing crazy about it. Nothing crazy, nothing secret, besides just being consistent and doing the work that I didn't always want to do. Okay? And you have to do it in order to get those results. So guys, I hope you got something from this. I look forward to hearing from you guys and how, you know, applying these things help your business. And I will talk to you later. Bye guys.